Hey YouTube, Mochismo Eugene, another video from Exit Strategy. Welcome. Let's talk about the fact that you're too deep to be reached. You're too deep to be reached. Simply, as I said it, that's just as simple as it gets. You're deep. You've ever talked to people and you have a conversation that is engaging, that has a fair amount of substance to it, or depth, or authenticity, genuineness. You think of some other names to define this conversation. It's not over the top. It's not it's not you being super academic. You're not shooting this PhD type of professor type conversation. You're just really attuned to what you're talking about. This is what you will often hear from a narcissist. Oh, you just deep. You too deep for me. Oh, you getting deep. You'll hear this stuff from them, and you will know now that you're awakened. Before you, and even looking back at some conversations, I guarantee you'll be able to determine that this sticks out. Even though it's probably been years, months, probably decades, you've had conversations with someone in the past, whether it's your family member, friend, or your fake friend, whatever you want to call it, they have made this comment to you. And this is two or three things that are happening here. This is they're egocentric, the narcissists are. So this is their inferiority complex kicks in because you are engaging. And God forbid you got a couple of people around who are attuned to the conversation. They're listening, attentive, and they're respectful to what you're talking about. They're not berating you or disparaging you or devaluing your worth of the conversation. And you will hear this knee-jerk reaction and response from them, among others. You getting too deep, man. I wasn't trying to get that deep. And this is the breakdown of the intellect on the part of a narcissist because they don't have an intellect. And if they seem intellectual, they have recited a form of behavior that gets them to the next point in life. You know, play the part until you get the part. This is how they live. This is how they move. So when you hear this, the one thing is the inferiority complex. The second thing is because they are afraid that they have to, well, not even afraid. It's too debilitating for them to have to compute or have to interpret what you're saying. You're essentially giving them too much work. They're having to think. They're having to be conscious. They're having to not just be in the moment and go through the motions. They have to really be attuned to what you're talking about because what they're fretting is now they have to give a response that's going to be noteworthy. It's going to have to complement what you're talking about. So they panic. And instead of them giving you their undivided attention, engaging as though they're really actually into the conversation, they will do the knee jerk, you getting too deep. Because what they want that conversation to just go away. And like I said, it's just a simple conversation. You could be talking about just anything that you seem to be familiar with, and you could just be lightly expounding on something. And this is how they panic. Because anything that's genuine and real and solid, they despise it. They want to be around it. They want to be near it, but they despise it all at the same time. And this will be synonymous when we talk about the narcissist and all the ill, ludicrous, just sadistic, insidious behavior of what they do is something, if you're not attuned to this on a regular, as far as how a lot of us study this and how we go into our closet and our seclusion and we research and study this, if you don't do this thing here and keep up on this, this will catch you out of left field. And it would be so hard to even grasp, let alone try to wrap your head around, because these people are in all facets of life. I was telling my children the other day, you have to be mindful of people who are in authority of you, how they tend to stroke your ego and stroke your accomplishments, pat you on the back and give you that a boy, that a girl type of, admirations. And some of them will go in excess because what they're doing, this is a grooming process. They are grooming our children as we speak. It starts in the education system. If it hasn't already started within the narcissistic family unit, it starts with the little girl down the street that plays with your daughter or your son, how she placates her little agenda with your son or daughter, making them feel guilty about either not sharing their things with her because she's a taker, and making them feel guilty if they don't share, rather than just to ask and in a real genuine way, can I have this, or do you mind if I have one of these or that? They always come at you with, are you going to share? You're just going to eat them all up and not going to give me any? You're going to be selfish? Just little subtle things like that is what these people tend to do. But staying on topic of, you're too deep for them to reach. I had my daughter tell me a week or so ago. She said, "Dad," she said, "it was this girl one time. She walked up to me here most recently and told me I was being pessimistic." And I had to look the word up. I've heard of the word before, and I thought I knew what it meant, and I didn't want to just guess at it. So I looked it up, and I asked my daughter, what does she mean when she said that? And my daughter kind of gave me a generalization of it, meaning that always looking at the bad and everything. And I say, well, okay, if you're pessimistic, I'm pessimistic. Not because I look at everything in a bad way, but I see things for what they are. For the most part, I can see some beauty in the world. I can see some good in humanity. But if we're being real about things, there is so much darkness in the world that you can't even keep up with it. You have to really look hard to find some good in humanity. And you have to start with you, though. You can be a part of that solution instead of a part of that problem. So she said, and I said, what did you say to her? She said, no, she said, I deal with reality. And I said, well, that's enough said there. If she wants to just go on to tell you that you're being petty. And I said, wait, hold up. I say, you're 14 years old. I say, what girl is running around here, child, at 14 years old, even using that word? I don't even think I can spell that. Probably wouldn't get it right the first time. But that's a word that even I haven't adopted into my forte of linguistics. I just don't. That seems like, I said, that's a backhanded insult to you. And it seems like this girl very much might be narcissistic. And in the grooming process of going on to be a full-blown narcissist, if she isn't already one. And I say, when people slight you like that, out of the blue, when you have a good nature and you know that you're a decent, well-meaning human being, I said, don't, in and of yourself, go out of your way just to see and voice all the negative things that you see around other people. Don't voice it to other people, what you see all the time, because that does give the impression that you are a negative person. So people's opinions are formed by that. A lot of times, if you see things for what they are, you keep it. You got to keep it under wraps and speak into an audience that really cares in a real way, like this audience here. I want to believe, but even here, there are some people that don't dare want to go near this stuff because even in their healing, it is just too abrasive. It's too straightforward. It's just too uncut. And we have to deal with reality, because guess what's got us in trouble before with these narcissists and these demon-possessed people? We gave them benefit of the doubt. My rule of thumb is you're gonna have to prove yourself noteworthy, prove yourself trustworthy, prove yourself having a solid character, because before you do that, you're always going to be on the skepticism by me. You're always going to be under the microscope nonchalantly. Not going to make it. I'm not going to make it a life's work, but you definitely. Just put it this way: when I see you, when I meet you on site, I'm already apprehensive. It's just the way I roll, and I can do it in a very calm, comfortable fashion. I can do it organically. I can do it just very silently, nonchalantly, casually. It's a survival skill that I believe all of us should adopt, even in the family units. When they show up wanting something or pretending to be extra nice to you when they haven't been before, you're supposed to put the apprehensive look on. And more than not, if you do this apprehensive uh, fall back type mentality, you'll see in no time at all they're going to ask you a million questions in less than a minute. What's wrong? What's the matter? Why you acting? You acting really funny today. You ain't talking. They're gonna throw all this stuff out there because they're temperature checking you. They want to know if the BS they just threw at you, you're going to swing at it. So you're deep. You're deep, too deep to be reached. On that tangent there, that is in conjunction to you're too deep to reach, because in every facet of life you have these people that are insulating themselves in position. Went to the thing tonight with my daughter, hoping for her to play volleyball, and you pay a fee and she could play, but it was postponed till next week. But three of her classmates were up there, and they said they were going to participate in soccer, and to which they did at some point during the visit up there. But I had asked them, I said, who's the coach? This is your coach right here? As we were approaching them, and they said, yeah, this is one of them. So I go over and I reach over and to shake it. Well, I reach over to give him a fist bump because I really don't like shaking hands. But he gave me his hand, and I reached over, and you know how some men are, he reach out and he grabs it aggressively, trying to almost like he wants to squeeze it to death. And I got a firm grip, so I'm always mindful of that. I mean, I don't think many people can out squeeze my hand. So he gives a firm grip, shaking it, looking crazy, and looking me in the eyes like, hey, how you doing? And he reeked of alcohol. And my daughter picked up on it too and said, you know what? He reeks like alcohol. And I said, yeah, I just mentioned that to you. And I said, this is a prime indication of what I'm trying to show you. I mean, not a prime indication, but a prime example of what I'm trying to show you, baby. Because let's say, for example, you were in participation with this coach and he was overseeing you guys. He's technically still a staff member, even if it's off school hours, and he's coaching and supervising kids in this manner. As far as a coach go, he's in the capacity of a coach, leader, mentor. So he's a staff member, and to be intoxicated doing that kind of stuff around children, I just think that that is getting a brain fog. But anyway, it is unacceptable. So I said, in this case, what would you do? Would you go and talk to the educators above him, the staff supervisors? And I said, you could, but I'm going to tell you, when you do this, you have to be prepared for one or two things to happen. You could either get mysteriously knocked off of this team, never realizing why. You could get mistreated very harshly going forward on the team, not realizing why. It's the repercussions that you're going to suffer. And I say, but drawing your line in the sand sooner in your life rather than later, it will pay dividends for you. Because one thing will be undeniable, that you stand for what you believe. And there will be a cost when you do that. And I said, and there's another factor that could play in. He could actually get moved around. They could get rid of him, or not. And like I say, you start receiving all this backlash. and being treated a little bit unequal in respects to getting put off the team, getting extra drills. And I said, don't dare mention this to the girls, the three girls that were participating in the volleyball, which is her classmates. And they go to the same school. I don't know if all of them are in her class. But the point is, I said, don't divulge anything that we discovered or we observed by way of this guy being intoxicated. I said, they may even, in fact, have observed the same thing. They may have dismissed it. And I said, don't be that one that dismissed it. Even if you don't speak to, and that wasn't her coach, and he wasn't from her school. So essentially, that wasn't anything that we addressed to any of the faculty there, because if we smelled it, I believe someone else smelled it. Now, mind you, me, if we see this individual in the future, and this is if there's one more indication of this, you damn well better believe I will bring it to the attention of whoever it concerns in that moment, because I'm going to tell you straight up, if you drink, that's your business. I used to drink. If you're drinking in any capacity where you're dealing with young children and you have parents there who are there with their children, if the parents are there in a sober frame of mind and they are attentive, they're negating their child to you to coach them in a sober mind. Because one thing about when you're drinking or you're drug induced, your emotions, you're led by your emotions rather than your rationale. And some may say, well, you know what? I have a drink every now and again and I coach. Okay, good for you. But my principal point is, why dare even do that when you're going to be overseeing children? Children of parents that are going to be there. That's not a good look on your part. But again, some of these people, most often are narcissists, they have no boundaries. They'll chug back a half a gallon of alcohol and booze, and they could coach in a school or college for years. Never ever get moved around or fired. You as an empath, if you had a rough weekend, they would sniff you out, even if you had, anything remotely that smells like a stench of alcohol. You may not even have drank the next day. You may be totally sober. What I'm saying, they look for things that are not even there. They look for things within you that are frail, that are fractured, that are weak. They look for the breach in you. They look for an open door of opportunity to sink your boat. And so that being all the case of you're too deep to reach, you're too deep to reach. So they have to use these ill tactics to actually get to you, get you down, get you out of the way, get your spirits down, get you out of the job, get you out of the company, get you off of the team, get you out of the organization, get you out of the apartment complex, get you off of the committee, get you out of the neighborhood, get you out of the children's life, if it's a domestic issue, family court issue. This goes on and on and on. So to cap all of this off, you're too deep to reach. And knowing that you are too deep to reach, you have to understand how you move and how you understand that these are the things you're going to be met with will be the game changer for you. Because you're too deep to reach, that's not your fault. That's not your responsibility. That's not even something you need to be overly concerned about. Just be mindful when you approach these people, such as I just mentioned, and they begin to go on these rants about you getting too deep, this and that and the other. How you respond to that, you just say, nod your head and keep it moving. Or, hey, just speaking my truth. That always kills them. I'm just speaking my truth. And see, they have no comeback for that. You're speaking your truth. So you're actually giving them a fair indication that, this is my truth. I'm sticking to it, essentially. You're saying it in a nonchalant way. That aggravates them just for you to stand in your purpose. They don't like that either. It is no win. There's no win with these people, so don't even dare try to. Don't try to compensate. Don't try to kiss and make up. Don't try to sugarcoat who you are. Don't try to diminish your worth and elevate theirs. You just move accordingly to what your convictions are. Hold fast to them, and you'll see these people either move around or they'll run like a roach with the lights on as they're smearing you. That comes with the territory, you know. So they won't spend a lot of time around you when they know you're resonating high, when you're vibrating high, when you are steadfast in your purpose, steadfast in your sound stance on things. This is what they see, the strength. They don't like the strength. They always pick weak people. They pick weak people, people like we've been in times past that had issues that we divulged with them. And that's another thing. Don't divulge your issues to anyone you perceive is already a hot mess. They can't help you. In the counsel of the wise, you shall become wise, is what the good book said. But in the company of fools, you will be mocked. You will be mocked. They won't take any of your pain, any of your despair, any of your disappointments into account. They won't have any empathy for you. They will counter that. They will go and tell it on the mountain and in the valley. Before they get out of your presence, they're already on the phone telling people what you've told them. Tell them how bad you are. This is the most destructive behavior I know on the planet. And there's a movie out now, somewhat of a Catholic theme. It's called The Omen or something like that. Just the preview alone. I remember times when I couldn't wait to go and see certain kind of movies. Empaths Chosen One, disconnect from this kind of stuff, man, because I'm going to show you, if you've already been traumatized, which we most of us have been traumatized, even if it was on a minimal scale, the traumatization happened because the person came in our life, they deceived us, they weren't what we thought they were. That in itself traumatized you. A lot of us don't want to accept that or say that because we feel like that makes us, we overly emphasize how much a victim we are. We are victims. We got victimized. We got carjacked, held up, we got stuck up without a gun. And so let's accept that going forward. But the point is, you have to understand that we're going to have to realize that we have this battle from the time we realized what was happening to the time we leave this earth. We're going to have to continue to do this thing called stay vigilant and remind others that there is a lot of hope ahead of us, that there is a lot of strength within us that the narcissist wants and they need. But they don't want us to have it. But they can't attain it. Because anything you take from someone, if you take it, it's not rightfully yours. And with that, they can't really take. They can't take your essence. And because they can't possess your essence in a noble way, in an authentic way, they have to take it away from you. How do they do this? Through disparaging you, devaluing you, tearing you down, insulting you, talking behind your back. But once you're elevating, you will see that these things don't bother you. You're unbothered by them. And you're able to actually watch the movie from the front row. The balcony seats, you have front row seats to this shit show of a movie. And it's interesting because on a daily, I don't go looking for these things. They are afforded me. They are afforded me. And if I really, really put up the effort, I could push 5, 6 videos a day. But as I said, I'm doing some decompressing and different things, but in no time at all, there's going to be an increase on the gas pedal, because there are some people and some things that I believe that need to be addressed in a way that some of us are addressing them, but it could always be more of us at the forefront, and I hope to be one of those. So in the meantime, you guys be well. That being said, bless.